the start of the Finance Committee meeting. It's September 26th, 7 o'clock. In attendance are Monica Hamill, Kevin McCall, Andrew Basil, Dr. Gary Otto, Ms. Danielle Penza, Michelle Goss, and Tom Schatt as a member of the public. And having said that, Michelle, why don't you go ahead and just give us an overview of I guess I'm curious as to what methodology you're using to track all the rosters of all the kids that are participating in the variety of different sports and clubs, and then how are you following up with the coaches and the advisors, and how is the money being handled, and how are people enforcing the activity policy, and how are we doing?
Well, I guess to start off, basically, I use an Excel program that was created, and I printed off the sheets. If you want to see them, I can make this folder for you. But,
okay.
So we collect the money. First of all, I ask, we don't do it until 3 weeks into the season, so that I know that cuts were made if cuts are necessary, so that we're not. That's in the policy 3 weeks into the season, the first start date. So after that, the students start handing in their activity fees at the due date, the day of the due date. If I do not have them recorded, then I literally go to their practices that day and tell them they can no longer practice until I have payment.
Okay.
Normally within 15-20 minutes, I have
There's a payment.
checks in my hand and parents are there with the money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the next day, but they don't practice or participate anymore until I have it.
Is the due date like the third week, or is it like you wait till the third week and then you say, okay, now we're gonna give you guys a week, and the due date's like a week after that, or how do you?
Just say.
Or everybody knows the due date is September, whatever.
Right.
20th.
I mean, it's all over our paperwork and on
Yeah.
the website when the due date is.
Okay.
I give that to the coaches at the coaches meeting before every season begins, so that they are pushing it as soon as they start. This is the deadline for the activity fee.
Okay.
So, the way that I keep track of it is the students hand in an activity fee sheet with their information on it. I have some used ones here. It's a printout that's on the website. They detach the bottom, and on this it has the student name, address, parent's email, phone number. The parent has to sign it, and then Kathy, my secretary, she initials and dates it when it comes in. It gets put into the Excel system. She also makes a copy of this paper here and their check, and this is what all of that is.
Okay.
So not only do we have it in the Excel program, we have
You got a proof of receipt.
copy, right?
Yeah.
And if a person gives us cash, we write them out a receipt that I made up on the computer.
Okay, good.
And we give them that. She makes a copy of it first, and then we give them the receipt.
Is the athletic office collecting the money, or is it the coaches?
It's the athletic office. The kids bring it to my office. The less hands that are in the pot, the better.
Yeah, right.
Is my feeling. And so the kids bring it to my office throughout the day. And I mean, as far as clubs, last year I admit it was a hot mess. This year I'm doing it differently. Last year I wasn't able to meet with the club advisors. I didn't have permission to do that, but this year I did have permission to do that. I met with all the club advisors, laid out exactly what I would need from them in order to do this, explained to them last year it was a hot mess, and so they're really on board with it. They're really following through with everything that I've asked them to do. The deadline for clubs is October 1st.
Okay.
I'm not allowing anyone to be on the homecoming ballot that have not paid their club fee.
That'll be a big
personally
motivator.
just didn't think it was fair for someone to be on the homecoming court if they hadn't paid their activity fee yet. I've been sending emails out daily to the club advisors reminding them the due date is October 1st. I received probably about between like 15 and 20 club fees today, because I'm having a feeling that the club officers are pushing it because the deadline's coming.
How many do you think were still out? Or do you have any way of knowing?
I don't. The club advisors have a roster that they, once October 1st comes, they're going to check it with the kids on their roster. They're going to give us a roster of that club, and then it is their responsibility to, if anyone joins the club throughout the year, to get their activity fee before they do anything, like up front. It seems to be working a lot better than last year, only because there's more communication. I feel like last year it was kind of just thrown and, collect the money and, so,
we knew there was going to be some bumps in the road, so
right.
The important thing is if the process is improving from one year to the next. That's what we're looking for. So
yeah, basically, I feel that it's improving, and so does Kathy Shutt, my secretary. The money, all the activity fees for high school fall sports and middle school fall sports and band have been collected. So it's just the clubs that are still out there, and that'll be.
Danielle, what's the lag time between when they're all collected and when they show up in like a report? Is it like immediate? Is it like at the end of the month when you guys reconcile all the accounts? Or?
Well, the actual activity fee deposits, if Goose collects them today, she might bring them down tomorrow, and then they'll get deposited tomorrow. Julie may enter them tomorrow or Friday. But when I'm doing reports that I'm asked, I prefer to do it at a month, because there's times that Goose, that's why today even, when it was asked what we collected, I wanted to make sure what she has collected is what we have entered in the system. I want to make sure everything matches. I don't want Goose to give you her number and us not have it entered yet, and that's why it's easier to do it at a month end, to make sure all our ducks are in a row because of the lag time and just the different things. Now, gate receipts and all that kind of stuff, that is a month lag time. So anything that was collected for gate receipts in the month of September, Julie normally will not get until the beginning of October to enter into the system. So the only way we would know that would be by going to Goose. I would not have that record.
I do.
Oh, before we move on to gate receipts,
but in that instance, activity fees are more up to date, if you will, than the gate receipts. Right. Not that they're not being deposited; they are. It's just till we get the information to put into the accounting system. That's the lag there.
And Danielle and I have been working closer this year. Not that we didn't last year, but we're doing it at the end of the month every time.
Gotcha.
Every month this year. So.
And we're right on with our activity fees.
Right.
As of right now, there's $70,020 we match. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay. Now, would the club advisors be sending you out, I don't know, a monthly roster via email, or are you going to check in with them quarterly or at the end of the term to see if enrollment has changed in the clubs, or how
my plan was to email them on a monthly basis and just say, hey, have any kids update your roster, please send me an updated roster.
Right.
So as far as that end of it, I'm open for suggestions, but
I'm just thinking, I'm wondering whether there might be an easier way to automate this, which would be to be able to put something up on the website that, is sort of like the master list that Michelle sort of, has an opportunity to control, but the different club advisors or coaches have an opportunity then to update just their roster on a monthly basis. That way you don't have to send an email to them or whatever. You can just go there and say, okay, well, nothing's been updated. Maybe send a reminder, automatically once a month.
There is a printed out copy left with Jolene Doyle in the office that they can go look at and make a copy if they want to. It may be beneficial to put it like on BlazerNet, where
we might be able to have a BlazerNet solution. We can talk to Jeff.
I'm just trying to make everybody's job easier in terms of tracking these things. You got one spreadsheet, they've got their own individual rosters. If there's one master sheet that's up on the system, and then if I'm the I don't know, whatever it is, the Glee Club coach, I go into the Glee Club roster and enter the names, and only I have access to. I and you would have access to that roster, and I would update it, and you would get an email alert or whatever that's been updated, and then that would pool up to a master list. Because my next question to you is then how you guys, everyone pays, right, their stuff. Is it not until the winter sports start that you have to now start worrying about the cap, the $500 cap, or are you taking that cap into consideration now with the families?
I would say, off the top of my head, without looking at anything, I would probably say like 3 or 4 families that have already reached the cap. There was two of those families, I think, just at the beginning of the year wrote a $500 check,
They just
knowing
knew.
that they were going to meet the cap with all their kids and the fall sports and the clubs.
Yeah.
And then the winter, I mean, it's not an overabundance
Yeah.
of families, but I mean, it's there already in the fall.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure how you were, like, if somebody forgot and they wrote checks for $600. Did we as a district catch that and say, wait a minute,
Well,
we owe you guys $100
yeah,
back, or?
Yeah, Kathy
Yeah.
checks it. I mean, she checks all the checks that come in. She checks with the free and reduced lunch.
Yeah,
And she also checks to make sure that it's the right thing. We
They-
don't
yeah.
accept any checks without the form.
yeah.
Like if a kid hands me just a check, I say, sorry, I need you to have mom and dad fill this form out and then bring it back to me.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay. Great. Do you have any questions, Monica?
The only thing that I was wondering, you said that last year you weren't allowed to contact personnel, the club.
I tried to have a meeting with the club advisors, and it wasn't recommended that I do that. So
Is there any personnel that you need to meet with now that you're not allowed to meet with that we should?
No, she said
No,
it changed.
I think she
I
said
got-
because of the
Administration
administrative
changed.
reorganization, that is
She's
what
being-
has
Okay.
changed.
Without the tape recorder picking this up, she's being diplomatic that the administration changed, now the procedures changed.
I just want to make sure that you're not being
No, she
No,
said
it's all
tied by
good.
somebody because,
she-
No, it's all
free
good.
rein.
okay,
Great.
that's what I
That's what we-
Things are as they should be.
okay.
Correct.
Leave it at that.
Okay. Mr. McCullough, do you have any questions
I
on the
don't know.
activity fee?
No, I do, and I know Mr. Sheen does. Yeah, I think you guys have done it, but I think it's, some of the holes are plugged, because I do think there was some people, from what I told, they were like, let me see if I can do it, and they more or less did.
Right. I mean,
I think this year, though, I think you're on top of it more, which is really good for the district. So.
thanks. I mean, it was my goal not to be collecting club fees the last day of school.
Yeah.
Correct.
So.
I mean, last year was the first implementation.
Correct.
Well,
Correct.
this is
Again,
the first time here,
again,
so I
no,
think,
no, that's not a criticism. I'm just saying
No,
to you,
I
I
mean-
think now you guys are on top of it more so, and you'll even get
but
better at
being
it.
through it a year, now
Sure,
you kind of
absolutely.
know what you need to
Absolutely.
do.
And it'll get better
to
next
perfect it,
year.
And exactly, each year, we're all going to get better at
And-
making
and
sure
again,
the process is smoother.
You know, I also heard some of the.
I'd like to automate it. That would
Some of
be
the
the next step.
advisors, I don't think, were even thrilled about having it in the school. Now they've learned that they have to do it. It's a year older. They're
Change.
not bucking
Everyone
heads so
is.
Change
much as
theory.
they did last year.
And
Last
it was
75.
also presented to them like we need to work together as a team for this so that the students can still
Still
have
have
these
that.
clubs. Because
Right,
if
yeah.
you guys don't work with me,
It's going
then
away.
It's
you'll
gonna
be
go.
eliminated.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So-
Last year was more or less.
Have you-
They took it as a punishment, more or less.
Right.
Have you had an opportunity to talk to other athletic directors at other school districts to see what methodology they use with their activity fees? Maybe there's something we can learn from them in terms of improving, making your life easier. I mean, at the end of the day, you have a job to do, right, which is to administer all the extracurricular activities of the school district, essentially. And this is part of that job, but to the degree we can get some of the paperwork out of your hair, and we, like as I mentioned earlier, automate it in some fashion, whether it's on the website or something like that, we certainly, I think we should take a good hard look at doing that, right? And so that you can focus on the more important things, which are, making sure the sports are going off when they're supposed to be. And,
Right. I mean, to be honest with you, it's a lot of extra work,
Mhm.
not only for me, but Kathy's part-time.
Right.
So she does spend a lot of time at the beginning of every season. Like her day from 7:30 to 11:45 is just activity fees, and there are days where it's just picking up the pieces and the frustration that it's kind of hard. But I mean, a lot of the other districts, it goes through the business office,
Mhm.
but I mean, I had, like, as far as going electronic, I think if there's some way we could do it like they do the lunch account
Mhm.
online, but I know that that's also a cost to the district, so it's something where it's not,
If we put a credit card charge in there, we lose money,
Right.
you know, but that might be a solution though.
But
I mean-
we're also spending a lot of man hours.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just
Chasing-
saying to you, I agree with that, and I believe
A lot
some school
of-
districts have started to do that. And
a lot of
might wanna-
parents, that's their first, like, they'll call me and say,
Can I use my debit card?
Can we use the debit card?
right, like today I had a parent who, you know, her daughter needed her club fee in, and she called and left a message, can I use my debit card? And it was, you know, it's just.
A lot of
I
people
think
aren't
it's
even
just
writing
that-
checks
Well, the
anymore.
answer to that should be yes. I mean,
Right.
quite frankly, we should be figuring out a way for people to pay for
Right.
things
When-
online with a credit card, so that, you know, and then that would tie into this roster, you know, in terms of, hey, look, so-and-so paid, boom, and their name's automatically filled in there, so you could just look at the roster every day and say, well, these people paid and these people didn't. I mean, I think we need to get Haas involved in this, and
Well,
Mr.
that's,
Haas.
I think that's the next level that we try to get to.
When,
Well, not
when
try
would
to, that
you
we
like
get
to
to.
see it automated?
Honestly,
I mean, are you
It's-
looking, like this
it's
year is
working, so
done,
it's
but
not,
Are you looking at a year from now, 2 years from now? What would be your?
Well, truthfully, you probably do it
Winter.
next year.
Well,
To be
you-
honest with you,
you really
when's your
don't
biggest
sports.
influx of sports? Now.
Fall. Well, no, it's fall. It's
So I would say we point the arrow toward by next fall to
Yeah,
have it
because
ready to
again, the
go.
activity fees are done for the year. Now it's only
Almost.
2
Well,
more
not really.
Almost.
You got basketball and all the
No,
winter
that's sports. I'm
Well,
talking about
people
club.
pay a fee for
no,
a
no,
second
I'm talking
sport.
Club. I said the clubs are done now for the year, so she only has to worry about
Her
the athletic
biggest
part.
hit is August.
It'll bring us in August
Yeah.
because that's where all the clubs are new and all the sports are new.
Right.
Again, I'm not saying winter and spring are you're going to.
We collect 60%, almost 70% of what we're going to collect
Correct.
for
That's
the
what I'm
year
saying.
now.
So I would, if you're going to do that, Monica,
That's
I would
what I'm
implement it over the summer for her for
Right.
next fall.
Right, that's what I was thinking, but I thought, well.
Correct.
she
That's what
wants to
that's what I would
do-
suggest.
No,
Plus, you can work out. Make sure you negotiate with the bank.
But you know what? Maybe we accept that there's going to be a little overhead that has to come out of that activity fee to make that
well,
happen.
But again, you can negotiate the fee in some of those things. What
Well,
the
sure you
banks
can, but and there's a variety of different
Nothing.
tools that we can use
PayPal.
to do that. Yeah, PayPal's a
PayPal's
perfect
easy.
one.
We already have an account with them,
So
according to.
Where
Well, we had been
it's easy
hesitant-
enough to set up a new one too.
We had been hesitant to use that before because we didn't think there would be a lot of money running through it. But now we got over $100,000 to run through this account. I think it could pay for itself.
Oh, absolutely, PayPal's don't.
Well, and even if if the foundation is allowed to be used to help collect this,
Mm-hmm.
and PayPal charges 0% on nonprofits, so if you set it up as a nonprofit PayPal, they won't charge you
Oh, okay.
2.9.
All right.
Well, we're a
It has-
nonprofit as a school district, so
I was told we were not at one time, that we are not considered a full nonprofit.
So you mean PayPal will, we have to check that. So
I
we'll
mean,
just start the research on
PayPal will
that.
work with you. If you're a nonprofit,
Yeah.
they won't charge it.
yeah.
We'll start the research on that. I mean, I have a PayPal account for things I do in my personal life, so. Yeah.
All
like that.
right, and so gate receipts. Can you just walk us through the process for the gate receipts so we understand that a little bit better?
sure.
Gate receipts. The only other thing I had in my like gate receipt, ticket sales, and physical fees, and whatever other revenues sort of coming that
Okay.
way.
As far as gate receipts, we, Kathy and myself, we count the money. We don't always do it on a Friday night because it's late, but we lock it in the safe and then
Mhm.
we count on Monday morning.
Yeah, we do have a rather large safe.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
And we basically just count it, and Kathy sends the deposit down to the business office.
Not for gate receipt.
Not our regular
I don't think so.
receipt.
I think you guys do that one.
Oh, we
bring
send
that-
it to right to the bank with the deposit slip, right? Yes, because I take it.
And you guys match that up with ticket sales, so we could see the number of tickets sold,
Yeah, we have a
adult and child versus.
we have a form like
Yeah.
the starting ticket, ending ticket, and then we match up the tickets at the end of the night to make sure that it's there, and then the drawer is always counted to
Yeah.
make sure that it's correct with the ticket sales.
Gotcha. And then are you guys, because I guess what I'm sort of moving towards is as we aggregate data over time on the ticket sales, how many adults, how many children, for what games, for what sports, we can begin to forecast a little better what anticipated revenues might be from one year to the next.
It depends. Like football this year, we haven't been getting a really higher end crowd just because we're not winning.
Right.
So it would all be based on probably how
Success
good
of the
they're
team, sure.
Right.
And weather.
And weather.
Right.
Well, the weather's been good, but
Yeah, now, but I'm talking about.
a couple weeks.
We don't really get a good turnout for. I mean, you get your parents. I was telling Monica yesterday, we don't really get a good student turnout for field hockey and soccer games. We're lucky if we get 10, 15 kids there. So it's.
Why do you suppose that is?
They're home doing their homework.
Is it because it's not at night, it's in the
We charge
afternoon?
for that?
Is it?
Yeah.
We charge for baseball.
No.
They can stand up at the top of the hill and.
They can for football too.
Well, that's true, but baseball is a little. You're closer. You're right there on up the Optimus Field.
I'm just curious. I mean, whether we're charging tickets or not for some of these other, sports.
We charge for.
I'm just trying to think. Is there a way to generate? This isn't really a financial question. Is there a way to generate more student interest to come out and support those teams?
It's basically the same students at all the same events.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
A lot of kids have jobs. I mean, if you're taking it past the financial question.
If you look at the kids that might come, that may not be able to afford the $4, or is there any way you can do a day of ticket? I mean, I guess everything is day of. Is there any way to try to get more kids in, maybe take off $1 and charge them $3 or $2 for a certain game? Like, what was it, tomorrow night they're having a game? Or, is there any way to try to get more kids there?
Right.
Maybe you say the
Unless-
first 20 are free if you get there.
Yeah, I mean, really, to generate more interest, and then when they see a game, maybe they'll like it. you
Right.
know.
I mean, there are ideas that obviously we could have. I don't know if it needs to be board
It's your
approved
committee.
or anything like that. Like, I just don't want to do it and then somebody finds out that 20 people got in for free and then it's.
I think any idea that you have,
So-
you just run it up the flagpole, whether it's
Okay.
with Mr. Hankel first, and then if you have to, Dr. Otto, and they'll say, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Try it out. I mean, we're never going to learn anything. We don't try different
Right.
things. So if you've got a great idea or you heard something that some of the school districts doing, I would encourage you to try it.
A lot of other school districts have the student pass that we
Right.
were emailing. So that was something that the varsity club came up with, that, trying to get more students at events, that maybe if they have a pass, they would just come because they
yeah.
pay the money up front for that, so throughout the year.
Throughout the year.
How much
yeah.
was that pass?
$50.
And how many, I don't know, I'm just guessing, how many kids have $50? Is that unlimited? Was that the unlimited pass?
Yeah.
Because the
And they've
$30
sold-
pass was just for 10.
They've been for sale for 2 weeks and they've sold none.
And it's just for students.
Yeah.
I think it's
all
funny.
that-
They used to sell them when
all
I
that
was in high
comes
school.
back.
We didn't.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to buy
Yeah,
them.
and I'm just
either.
wondering if whether maybe the better approach isn't trying to sell it directly to students, but to the parents. Because ultimately, the parents are the ones footing the bills for all these things anyway. So maybe at the beginning of the year, something goes home to the parents saying, get your kids their, unlimited sport pass today for $50 or whatever it is, and they get to go to all sports all year.
Make it a birthday gift.
And yeah, whatever. It's a birthday gift or it's a, I don't know.
Probably a
Especially the
marketing
freshman
question.
class coming in. Maybe the moms and dads would really want their kids to get involved and go to different things. I'm just thinking out loud of a way to, kind of encourage it, because ultimately the parents are the decision makers with that sort of thing. So if they say, yeah, $50, that sounds like a great idea. Student folders, or I don't know, whatever it is. I mean, at that age, my kids aren't that old yet, but
I was going to say
stuff comes home to me all the time, and I'm always
Yeah.
writing things for field
Forget it.
trips and this and
Right.
that.
Forget it. Nothing comes home in high school.
I'm also the passes, the student and the adult punch card passes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to push those. I'm going to have a table. My goal is to have a table with someone selling those at events so that people know, because a lot of people go on the website. So once, they're there, they see it, it's visual, it might sell a little bit.
You actually mentioned something, maybe going to like that assisted living facility, villas at Merlatt.
Well, we talked about that yesterday. Michelle and I were talking about Villa, that they originally were telling us that they wanted the residents to have more activities. And so as we were talking, we thought middle school, girls basketball, there's really not a big crowd. It's an indoor sport. And the Villa at one time said they would bus their bus their residents to
When we talked to them
middle
about the
school.
circus,
Oh,
they were like, can we
okay.
buy a whole bunch of
They
these
want-
tickets
mhm.
so we
Wow.
can take like a field trip for their residents?
Wow, that's really cool.
Well,
we should,
they
we
get
should
bored.
follow up on that.
They get bored sitting around, so they want to have things for them to do locally in the community, and whether it's a band event or it's a sporting event at the middle school or even at the high school, I would think that, if you can get 25.
They do a senior citizens Christmas lunch. They get them up here for that too.
The executive director said we would buy a bunch of these
Yeah.
things. So
So that they don't even need to buy. They buy a meal ticket. Well, no, actually, I think they donate the meal to them. For
Well,
that,
the other
don't
thing is
they?
tell them the band competition's in Exeter, which is Boone Exeter's band competition next weekend.
I also mentioned to Monica, I did contact them
Are they
back in July
Yeah.
or June at the end of last year and just asked them, I never got a call back, but asked the activity director if they would be interested in coming and using the track on a daily basis, like for exercise, and just in the summer, I mean, it's open and
Yeah.
I'm there, so.
I think the population's a little old. I mean, most people in assisted living facility tend to be in their 80s.
Well, some can walk.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying they can't
I mean,
walk.
I
I'm
was
just
there,
saying
they
that
were walking.
they tend to be a lot older than most people think. But if we have to, I mean, we met the executive director at that Berks Chamber of Commerce.
EBBA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could reach out through them again and
That sounds like a good idea.
do something along those lines.
So it was the tracks, the indoor sports,
Band things.
yeah, band.
Okay, and physicals, was our doctor here like sometime in the fall before sports started? Because they have to,
Physicals were back in June,
in June. Oh, they do them that early for the coming year?
yes.
Yeah,
And
because
we
they
only-
start their practices in the summer.
We
Yeah.
only do one now. We used to
Just
do-
one time a year?
We used to do it 3 times a year, beginning fall season, winter, and spring.
Uh-huh.
But we only do it once now. That's what a lot of the county schools went to as well. So.
Is there a reason why we're doing once as opposed to 3 times? Is it just
Um,
administratively difficult, or is it?
Get the doctor to come out and do it probably.
Well, the doctor
I
is
think
charging
it
us like
was-
$1,800 a year to do as many physicals as he could do. So
I think it was the number, like, you're gonna get a lot in the fall, but as it goes.
And a lot of those kids are
Winter,
triple
spring.
athletes, triple sport.
Right, so if you play a sport in the fall, you just need a recert form saying that you didn't get hurt playing your previous sport.
Uh-huh.
And that's something that your parents sign off on.
gotcha.
So it was, I think it was probably costing the district more money to have the doctors come.
Correct.
It wasn't paying.
Well, we were paying. What I understand was we were paying $1,800 a year to have. I don't know what we're paying now, but to have the doctor there, whatever it was, 2 or 3 times a year to do the physicals. I'm just wondering whether that plan isn't better because you're going to capture kids who otherwise would go to Premier in November because they got to start their winter sport and they didn't get their physical because they didn't play a sport in the fall, or if they're thinking far enough ahead back in June. Gee, I better get my physical done now before. I mean, like I wouldn't think that.
And they
far
can
ahead.
always go to their own position then.
Yeah, they
too,
can.
right?
Right.
They can.
I think
A lot
some of them probably
a lot
do
of
that.
times with insurance, though, it doesn't allow you to do, like, parents do take their kids to Premier.
You're right.
Mhm.
And they just pay the out-of-pocket $50
It's actually 25.
for a physical.
They charge 25 for a physical.
I thought they charged more than that.
At
But
No,
Premier.
they charged me $50 when I went to there last time.
Oh, I mean, they send emails saying, student athletes 25. Like, they send Bob signs with the price on it, so.
Maybe they do that just for schools. Maybe
I don't know.
walk-
Well, they probably looked in the area and found out what school started and figure what.
well, that's what we were charging,
Yeah,
25.
that's what I'm saying.
So-
That's exactly why they lowered it to 25. Because they want our business.
Well, it looks like the physical fee that I received, the amount, I don't know if it changed any,
Nope,
was
that's it.
$4,250.
That's it.
And we charged 25. And I have here down 170 participated in
Well, now you have free kids, you have reduced kids, so you can't really,
Right.
it's,
So they don't, the free and reduced don't pay the physical?
well, free don't, reduced it was
It's
$5,
reduced.
I want to say.
So that it would be less than, yeah,
Sure.
You'd have to itemize that to find out how,
the exact,
yeah.
so less than what I have.
All right. Anybody
I
else?
still, okay.
Go.
Now, the comment I have about the free and reduced, I want to know why it could be a simple form and anybody can sign it. And there's no proof of financial need.
No, they need to bring in.
No, they don't.
No,
I
they
asked this
don't,
question
not
2
unless
years.
they're
No,
verified.
see, and I asked this question 2 years ago. I know somebody who lives, in a very nice home in Amity, and they provide for a free and reduced lunch. And there's, no way that they should have get it.
Wasn't that a federal program?
Yeah, but all you do is sign a form.
Just fill out the form.
But it is
okay,
federal.
No disrespect.
Does the federal government require any kind
disrespect.
of verification
No.
that we're providing for
We have to
reduced?
do verification once a year, and our program that we have does the process and picks those folks that get verified.
How do they verify them? They just pull down their income taxes?
No.
Or what do they do?
It generates a letter that Michelle sends out, and it says the things that they need to send in to verify their income. But, out of the hundreds that we have, we might have to verify 6 or 7 people.
Correct. So what I'm saying is, somebody like your area, up in your, Blackwood Estates, they could essentially fill that out form, send it in, and they could do it. There's no proof.
But doesn't our system catch up on that? And
No.
We don't verify all
No.
hundreds of them? We only
No.
verify?
There's a random thing that has to be
No.
done.
That's what I'm saying. So no.
And we
okay,
have
listen,
to be very
listen.
careful with what we
without
question,
because.
because we've called the state and asked them,
Correct.
because we know of
But
things
here's the
that
thing.
aren't
Here's the
right.
problem,
And
Andrew. Here's the problem I have.
You have to be very
Okay,
careful about.
I don't mean to sound snotty, but I know I
If
probably
you
don't
submit
qualify.
something and I know.
And again, I
have to be very careful.
I'm very
not
glad
to
I,
go to
but you know what?
And kind of
I could do it.
Right.
Because I'm discriminating.
Absolutely,
You
I
have
could
to
do it.
be
I
very-
know employees in the district who fill out the free and reduced lunch. Now you figure that out because we know what their pay is.
Well, if we know that's what's going on, we need to stop it.
You know what? You can't. I asked this to Daniel last year.
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
I got more of a problem with again.
Wait a minute. I guess what I'm wondering is,
Well, you're
there's a
getting more of a
program.
reimbursement for a free student than you are a paid student anyway.
Correct.
You're getting about.
That's
I don't
lunch.
know what the
That's lunch.
right.
But I'm talking about everything else.
But we're using that as a
We're using it as a basis.
methodology
So
for
what I'm
other-
saying is we should maybe change if you're free or reduced, you don't the activities. I don't know. You pay 50% instead of free. Again, I'm not. Again, and the other thing is, listen, people who need it. I'm not being one of those people. Get rid of everybody off the programs. That's not what, because you're taping this, and I don't like to stick them out. But what I'm saying is, that they need it, by all means, let them have it. But my point is, there are people. There's no proof that they need it. And now you're right. The free and reduced lunch thing is one thing, but I'm talking about these activity fees. We're charging people $150, whatever it is.
Yeah, $150.
I'm sorry, $25 for physicals. We're charging families the $500, and people are paying $500. Yet some people say, you know what? Nah, I'm all right. And all they have to do.
Well, in our defense, I don't.
stops us?
I didn't say it's
there's really.
your
Hold on a
fault.
second.
Right,
Wait a
no,
minute,
no,
though.
but-
Let me just think this through for a second. So what stops us from taking whatever those qualifications are that you guys send out in a letter to the random sample, right, and sending it out to everybody that's on a free and reduced
You
lunch?
cannot do that.
Can't do it.
It's against the law?
There's I don't have it, but if you pull out the manual, you cannot verify everyone. There's a process that goes through, beginning October 1, or I forget when it's due, but once a year there's a verification.
Then you're going after people. You're not allowed to go after people.
This is a
Who says we're
conversation.
going after them?
It's a
This is a conversation we need to have with
Brian.
not with Brian, with our local political people. That
And you need to turn
what
off the tape. Because
I'm just trying to understand it.
I'm not advocating
I'm
anything
not trying
wrong.
to be wrong. I got a frustration because I know of at least 1 or 2 families who actually work for the district, and their salary alone should be enough not to qualify. I know one person who lives in, like I said, their house is a very nice house. If you can afford the house and still be there after 3 years, I'm assuming you pay for all the taxes and the mortgage on it, therefore you can afford everything else. And I'm not joking. And I have.
Well, I guess it's
That's
the equity issue that troubles
Sure,
me. You have some
absolutely
people that
it
are
is.
struggling, and they're still doing the right thing, and they're
Correct.
paying for things, and then you have
That's
other people
why-
that are going for a free
that's why
ride,
if-
and that's a little troubling. to
Correct.
me.
And if revenue enhancement ever said, I think we should look at, maybe we should bump that from 150 to 200, I'd have a serious problem now. And by the way, I'm not advocating
No,
that,
no,
but
just
I would have a serious problem because people aren't being fair about it. And that's not the school district, by the way, that's not the administration's fault.
No, and
I'm not throwing stones at
I would
ADL
say-
or anybody. I'm throwing stones
No,
at the
I've
system.
known.
I would have a panic
parents
attack
who
over
found
2
out
people.
The system.
It might
And
be
they
2
might.
people.
And they
Sure.
decided to go ahead and do it. So,
So-
And I'm
they-
going to be quite honest with you. You're absolutely right because Michelle will get an application, they'll be denied. They get the letter, they call her, they say, well, what's the threshold? Magically, 3 days later, we get another application in, and now they're in the threshold to be reduced or free.
Okay. Or better yet, they weren't last year, and again, they could be this year, but you don't know that.
I
or-
remember making a call
Or
when
they
this came up
just went
before.
somewhere.
and
I'm
they
just
told me
curious,
to-
what
they told me to back
what
off.
happens if you say, well, okay, well, now you have to verify. You got to send us your income statement.
can't though, she said it states.
You have to be very careful
It's not a local
who you
decision.
verify.
Correct.
The verification process is a process that the federal government tells you there's a way you get the sample, which our system does for us. Any other time, you have to be very, very careful. Now, I did tell Michelle there was one that I felt just cause to verify because of the way the forms came in. It came in denied, then it came in reduced, then it came in free, then it came in no income, and just the way that it was progressing to me, that particular instance, I felt I had just
Correct,
cause that I could
correct,
stand
correct,
on. Some
correct.
of these others,
Correct. But anybody can literally do it.
So there is a provision. She just spelled out what it is.
Correct, correct. But you got to
but
be.
I mean,
It probably
I'm not
isn't
the
such a high
secretary
standard.
at the building that knows these families either.
Correct,
And
correct.
they'll call and say something, but to me, I can't have that as my just cause for that.
And again, we can debate this all night. That's my bigger frustration about the whole thing. Not.
We've called the state
Correct.
several times with
Correct.
some issues, and Michelle
Correct.
has told what we can and can't do.
And again, this has nothing to do with the lunch issue, because like you said, it actually we
For the
make
lunch
out.
program, you're
It's
right, it
okay.
does.
We make out on the lunch, and that sounds rude, but we do. But
You're right, though.
But my thing is that we're nailing something.
Well, the other thing is maybe just stop
It adds
using.
up to a lot of money. If they're not paying the $50 club, they're not paying the $150 for it. Like,
Correct.
they're not.
And what
Well-
my point is, the families
Quite a bit.
instead of being a $500 cap, you can actually maybe make it a $3.
What
If everybody-
what other programs that we run use free and reduced lunch as a litmus test
That's it.
for?
The only other thing we charge is the activity fee.
That's what
Okay,
we
so
do.
maybe that's not the test that we use anymore.
Well, the only
That's
other
up to your
the only
commission.
other way around it would be is we set up our own income,
I don't think you can.
Verification.
our own
process.
income
But
verification
Daniel's looking, you
system.
can't.
How? With what?
It's
Not
against the
off
law.
of those free and
You
reduced
can't-
applications.
No, I'm saying is we wouldn't use free and reduced
Yeah, but you
lunch.
can't ask for people for tax returns. We have no right to that.
We'd have to check with Subers what we could ask.
Yeah, seriously, you can't verify.
Why can't you?
You can't verify a person's income.
Why not?
That's
In order to waive a fee?
I bet you can't. I bet you can't.
Banks ask for people's verification of income all the
Okay,
time?
We're not a bank.
I'll be very shocked if you.
We're not
go to
loaning
somebody
people
and
money.
say-
Sometimes we feel like that, though, but we're not.
And
Yeah,
the other thing is,
we're not
like,
loaning
first
people
of all,
money.
First of all, getting okay to do
Hold
it.
it.
Second of all, is no,
Someone rents an
producing it.
apartment,
No,
you
it's-
run a credit report on them, and you ask for verification of employment
But
and
you're-
verification of income.
There might be legal statutes that allow
Remember,
renters
we're
to do
giving
that.
it's free education.
I don't think a school district has
We're
the
giving
legal
them a free
authority.
education.
But we're not denying them their education. We're saying
I understand that.
you need
but
to
you're-
participate if you want to participate in this
You can look
particular
at Look
activity.
into it, but I'd be shocked if we get.
Well, I think we ought to ask. Look, there's obviously an equity issue here that needs to be addressed.
And then, okay, I want
so-
my kid to participate, but I'm not going to show you my tax return. Good luck.
Well, then
I'll sue you.
Maybe you don't get to
I wish
play.
the tape wasn't on because this is hypothetical.
I'm just saying, though, that there's got to be a way to verify that someone actually is in need.
I agree
And
with you.
and in order to do
Right now,
that,
there's no
we
mechanism.
need to have a conversation with Brian about what
Correct.
the best methodology
Correct.
might be to do that, because
Correct. And that's
it's
something-
not fair to people who are struggling.
That's my point.
But how many people do we think are slipping by?
I
You
don't
guys
know,
would have to tell me
I don't
that.
care.
I don't
if
know
there's-
who it is,
I can think of three off the top of my head. So well, I don't know.
I just know people who've asked me in the last year.
See.
I mean, if it's hundreds of
That
people
they
that are
heard
participating, is it
this
10%? Is
and-
it 70
let's
people?
Put it this
Is
way. Let's put it this way. It only comes around once where then you find out your neighbor's not doing it.
I have the list.
See.
You
Well,
have the list, but I mean, with the actual number of people, I'm trying to look at what we had done a while ago just to see. There's
How many total
one,
number?
2,
It doesn't give me a total number, it's 9 pages, though.
Oh.
but that doesn't mean that that's everyone that's
Right.
That's
utilizing it.
participating.
There's 2 that I've seen so far out of all these. 3.
Anyway, we need to move on, but
This is,
Yeah, we need to check into it, administration.
Yeah, again, I'm not criticizing the administration.
No, I didn't take it as a
I just get
criticism.
frustration when I find out.
Are you talking about
You know what really frustrated me last year when we got the list, and I saw some of the people
Well, I
on the
guess-
list who didn't pay.
Michelle,
I thought
what
you
we're
meant
trying
in
to,
general.
yeah, I mean, what we're trying to figure out is of everybody that's participating in extracurricular activities,
Just roughly looking here.
what's the
there's
total
about-
number of students, and then
I
what's the
would
total
say
number of students that are on free and
probably
reduced?
Well, 3 for the reduced, because I can see that. As
Right.
for free, I don't know, because I wouldn't see.
Yeah,
the
he's
dollar
saying
amount,
if there's
so.
three, if there's 300 people participate, how many are in this free and reduced? 100 of them?
I think she just said.
I mean, if it's a third, that's outrageous,
No.
you know,
No.
so.
It's like, oh, no.
If
okay.
it's-
It's not that many.
If it's
No, I
1%,
don't know.
if it's
Yeah,
1%, then.
okay, if it's
Or if it's
1%,
less
then
than
I'll let it go.
1%, I think we
just
let it
happen to know
go.
the 1%.
Yeah, I would have to.
Between Monica and I, we
Yeah,
know the 1%.
if it's a de minimis number, I
It
would,
just seems
it's
a
not
little
worth
weird that
chasing
we
our
know the
tail.
1%.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just,
Well, that just gives us something to talk about the next time. Any other questions for Michelle?
No.
No.
Thanks,
Okay.
Michelle.
Mr. Schott, did you have any questions? Or
The question I have is, what did you budget in 2011, 2012 for revenue from the clubs and the?
Nothing.
I think in 2011, 12.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't have
For-
it with me.
I want to say.
Hold on a
120,
second. I got it right here.
140.
We budgeted about $8,000 for physicals, $56,000 for gate receipts, $141,000 for athletic band fees, and $28,000 in extracurricular activities.
140.
Okay,
Give or
And the extracurricular would be the clubs.
all right, and what did you actually receive?
I don't have that information off the top of my head.
Do you think it was more?
Less.
We received a little bit less because what we ended up doing with the budget for this year was we had anticipated more and we budgeted a little bit less. I think we budgeted like 90 or 95% of what we thought we were going to get, and then we came in a little bit less than that. And then this year we revised the number down accordingly. So I don't have all those numbers at my fingertips.
The second question I have is, the first year you did this was 11, 12. To be able to answer the question I'm going to ask you, you'll probably have to know what happened in 10, 11. Did you find the participation, percentage of students participating went up or down?
From what I saw, because we used 10, 11 numbers to generate a budget for 11, 12. And then what we did see band membership drop, but
That
not
wasn't due to
athletic
money.
activities. But to say that was correlated to activity fees is tough because we also made
curriculum
band,
change.
it was no longer a graded course. So,
And we eliminated the 8th grade.
and we eliminated 8th grade participation in
Marching band.
marching band. So I think there's too many unrelated things there to say that there is a correlation between activity fees and participation rates.
And I think you answered my last question was going to be, is there a procedure for students not having to pay? And I think you went through that.
We did.
That was going to be my last question.
Yeah, I mean,
We
we've
just
been
spent
using
20
the
minutes
free
on
and
that.
reduced lunch as the
You still have that
benchmark.
written in your policy, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, thank you, Michelle. We really appreciate you coming.
Thanks, Goose.
Yeah, thanks.
thank you, Michelle.
Okay, so we're just going to blow through a couple of things. So the status of the swap, we're still at a $1.9 million deficit. We're $700,000 away from that triggering. The debt balance is, if I'm correct in what the amortization schedule you sent me, is about $91.5 million is the current status of our debt,
For just principal.
just on the principal, right? Well, once we pay off the principal, then
Interest goes away.
the interest goes away. So
Basically.
what I didn't understand with the report you sent with the capital reserves, where is that? Capital fund balances. Can you just walk me through this real quickly? We started off with $600,000 in July. We've earmarked $100,000 in projects: high school roof repair, flat roof coating at AIC, cameras at the Monocacy Center, carpet replacement Birdsboro, and I'm assuming this is the balance of the chillers at Birdsboro. So that was $100,000 there. So we end up at $503,000. And then we have $844,298 of construction funds. This is a separate fund.
It was the project fund.
Right. And we used Of that, we use 700,000 in defeasance
The 790.
out of the 844. Like, that's what I'm trying to understand here is when I'm looking at the spreadsheet, I've got 503 capital reserve balance after committed projects, and then we've got a construction
All we have
fund.
left is capital reserve money right now. But
Okay.
I do see where you're saying that that's not, I have to go back and look at that number. I mean, the capital project funds are now closed. All we have is capital reserve. Because we paid the chillers out of there. The chillers are done.
Mhm.
What we had left, we paid out of there, and then we paid off the debt.
Okay, so I was just, because I was looking here, you had construction fund balance after committed projects, and you had a note,
Is zero.
and the note said subtracted out the
Oh,
bills.
that's just my note for what I needed to do, but there's nothing there now.
Right, so it's a zero. So I just couldn't figure out the numbers. I was trying to subtract 300 from 844,
Yeah,
and then
I
there's
see
another
that. I'll have to
790,
look
and I was like,
and
well, how do those three numbers come together to get to me to a zero
I'll
balance?
get a revised one out.
I was just
Probably
curious.
Friday.
Okay, so net after the $300,000 for chillers and the defeasance,
You're at the 500.
we have $500,000 with the capital funds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. That was that question. And then moving on, what was this other thing that I saw here, Danielle, you sent us, which was the accounting?
Yeah, I sent them this afternoon.
Yeah, she had replied
I
to all
can't
of
get into
everybody.
mine either.
One something.
If you go in your email, can you get in your email?
I can get in my email.
I can't get in my email.
I don't see anything.
I don't know what else did I send.
You sent
Yeah, I
a
can't.
something entitled Evaluation 12, 13, 14, 15.
Oh, I said that was my auditor RFP in the email.
Yeah, so
This
is
was
this something
the-
you need action from us on tonight?
If I could, to put on the agenda in October.
Do you
If
guys
we
need to
had
see a copy of
talked-
this, Kevin? Because you
I
can't.
got it now.
You have it?
Give me a
Okay.
minute.
I have an extra copy.
You need to see
Look
it?
at copy. It's easy to see on there.
I can look at it any time.
There's 2 pages. to it.
There's another page. There's a cover page. It
Oh.
has
Did you not
the.
print out the whole?
I thought I did.
It
There
sums
was
up
2
the different.
tabs.
I guess I didn't.
Which one's this called, Danielle?
It's
This is
for-
called the Evaluation 12, 13, 14, 15, August
Okay, I see it
2012.
here. I'll look in
Got
there.
it.
That's good.
I guess there's another page.
Yeah, there's this page.
Something.
That's where I have
Oh, wait a minute. I might have it in here.
Okay, so you went out and you got
Well,
5.
At the last meeting, we only had the 1 respondent, and then you guys had made some suggestions of people to contact, so we went out to these 5. 3 that you'll see that submitted, the other 2 did not respond to the RFP.
Right, so we got 3. The benefit from Mr. Schott, this is the folks that are going to be doing our auditing services. We went out to bid, and last time we met in the beginning of August, we only had 1 company come back. The business office went back out and rebid, and now we've got, of the 5 companies that they contacted, 2 did not get back to us, 3 have, and we got 3 separate bids. They're all 3-year contracts, all around $20,000 a year. BBD LLP is at $57,800 for a 3-year contract. Urbine and Company, who we've used in the past, is at $58,850, and Maley Falconero and Company LLP is at $64,500. And then on the second tab, Ms. Penza's put together, what's nonprofit governmental entity practice? This is the percentage of their business that they do.
For school district.
For school district work.
Nonprofit, which is school district.
And then you provide us with the rates and everything else. And your recommendation is to approve Urbine and Company for the 3-year contract with an option to extend for 2 additional years. And that's at market rate, the 2-year option?
They didn't provide me with a rate, so at the time to extend, we could ask them what their rates are going to be, and if we don't like what they are, then we just go
Yeah.
out to bid again. They did not raise our rates for the 11-12. They held them at the 10-11.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see what's there. I mean, it's up to the board. That's my recommendation. BBD LLP is over the whole term of the 3 years, $1,050 less. I personally am just not very comfortable that they've only been doing 2 school districts for 4 years. Knowing that I can pick up the phone and call Linda or Derek at any time for any of our questions that we've had regarding, the circus and nonprofit, and they don't charge us for any of that.
Okay. I mean, I don't have any objections with going with your recommendation, do you?
Yeah, I don't know why would we, they know us, they know you, they know the staff, you're reinventing the wheel going out to another
Well, if you
auditor.
make a committee recommendation,
Yeah, right.
it'll
That's
hold.
great. I will put it on the next
Yeah, I
agenda
think you
if
guys
that's,
stick
that's.
with it.
I
It'll have weight with the
appreciate
rest of
that
the
very
board if you
I
recommend it
just think
from the
our
committee.
budget- And I know
If it's
them
a unanimous
locally.
committee
Yep.
recommendation, it'll
Thank you
pass
very
with the
much.
board, I
Okay.
think.
I know them locally, so.
On some of the things we just mentioned, Mr. Schott, do you have any questions? We talked about what our outstanding debt balance was, the status of our swap, this issue with the Irvine company, and our capital reserve balances. No questions? Okay. Account review. Last time we met, we were sort of talking about who has, where do we keep certain accounts within the school district. I think one of the ones was the issue of the collection of tax revenue and sweeping the funds from National Penn's account quickly into our state funded accounts. Have you guys?
Yes, that has been up and running since the beginning of September. There was a little quirk actually Monday, that National Penn did contact Liquid Asset today. I have not heard the outcome of that yet, but they were sweeping it took a little while to get set up. They are not charging me, which they originally, National Penn, were going to charge us I want to say it was the $10 a month for the
Yeah,
web access.
right.
He did charge me, though, $25 one-time fee because we have to have these tokens for people to log in. So that's happening. We're only obviously going to do that during tax season, so come probably January, that's not going to happen because there's no money going in those lock boxes, and if it is, it's little, and we can do that ourselves. I did go to VIST and ask them about the direct deposit fees and the other fees. They agreed to reduce our wire fees by 50%. So we had incoming wire fees were $10. Now they're only $5. Outgoing were $25. They reduced it to $12.50. However, the ACH fees, which is for the direct deposits, they said their fees are competitive. And I did try to use the example that I have someone sitting on my board that knows for a fact they're not being charged it. And she said, well, I'm sorry I can't share that with you, but I would find that hard to believe. So we are still paying. I don't.
What are
have
they
it.
charging us for the ACH fees?
Let me look back here. I have it from last time.
And they are making changes with their bank too, by the way, you know that.
Well, they are
They're
right,
merging.
and she said that
They're
we were
merging.
supposed to get some stuff.
Shock.
I
bank
haven't
merger.
seen the takeover yet to see if
I
there's any
did.
changes, and I think I don't know. It's 15 cents per item. So
They are changing though, they're merging.
Yeah, I know,
with,
but they're keeping this.
Yes, they're keeping this name,
Yeah.
but and some of their web stuff is changing.
So
But at least you got some of the fees reduced.
some of it, yeah. And we're currently not being charged for stop payment, so we didn't need to.
What do you think these small changes, what do you think that means to the district in terms of, in a year? Is it hundreds of dollars or is it thousands of dollars?
Oh, no. I don't even know that it's hundreds of dollars.
I see.
mean, it would, I think it's under $500, but
Okay.
I would have to, I don't.
And in terms of the sweeps now, is that happening daily during tax, from
Yeah.
July 1st through
They're looking-
whatever, or is it
they're do-
happening?
They're looking every day, sweeping everything but 10,000 in case we have returned checks, we need to keep some money in there.
Okay.
So they're actually logging on every day. I actually did stop that on Monday, like I said, because there was a quirk that we had a little issue, but we're working through it, so.
All right. Good work. Thank you.
And it's still on the agenda to try to go out for bid for banking, maybe into January now, but it's on the list.
Yeah. How's the Commerce Bank relationship going? Was it Commerce, or was it where they're paying us for the?
They are, and
We thought that was going to be like $20,000.
yeah,
in a
I
year.
would have to. I didn't bring it today.
Yeah.
It's on our end. It's going seamlessly. I mean, we have vendors that are enrolled, and we're doing the files almost every day when we have manual checks. And if the vendors that are utilizing it seem to be happy, and they're taking their funds, so.
Okay, so you think we're going to come in on budget with that, or?
I
Hard to
mean,
say.
I have no way of knowing how that's gonna I mean, I really don't know.
Yeah.
Because it depends on what we spend, so
Right.
I have no way of even guesstimating. Now, Commerce said that when they took our list of the vendors that they actually enrolled, whatever they did to tell us that it was going to be that 20,000, they seem to think we actually are going to exceed that with the spend of people that we enrolled. But again, that was spend based on like 2 years ago, so we've cut spending and, you know.
Okay, well. Alrighty. Let's see. Why don't we move to assistant business manager interview update? How are you guys making out with that?
Excellent. We have 12 candidates that we selected from our paper screen. We interviewed 6 of them yesterday. We're going to finish up with our interviews tomorrow. I think we may be close to the person that we already like, but I don't want to, since I'm on public here, I got to let the other 6 have their chance. But we've found a couple people that I think are got good strong accounting backgrounds, good experience. Some are not in schools, some are in schools already. It's been a nice. We've had a couple that were really not what we're looking for, but when we get done tomorrow, we'll decide whether or not we want to go to a second level or just bring somebody forward for a look-see from you guys, and then start working on a salary piece.
Will you be bringing these people back for a second interview after you've gone through the first round, or are you just going to focus on the 1 or 2 people that you really like?
It depends. I would. There is a clear-cut delineation right now, and it's probably out of the first 6. There's definitely 2. So if the next 6 bring us 2 more that we really like, then we might have to go to a second round. But if we get 6 people that we don't think fit our needs, about the best way to say it, on Thursday we'll just probably
pick one of the 2.
We have 3 of us. It's Mrs. Torsham, me, and Danielle, because obviously that person works as closely with the 3 of us as anybody.
Right.
So I'm very optimistic.
And there is one candidate that, as we scored them, has the highest score, and we all agreed.
Yeah, we do kind of an
after the
independent
scoring,
thing. After we're done with the candidate, we sit down and we have a little scoring system, and we've been very consistent with what we've been looking for. I'm kind of leaning on Danielle, since it's the person that is really her right-hand person to, weigh in a little bit more heavily than me and Mary Beth.
I'm sorry, what do you anticipate the start date? When Julie leaves, or before Julie leaves, or?
I would appreciate the board if someone could start as soon as possible to have them in, because quite honestly, I do not have the time to go over and learn Julie's job and to keep my head above water what's going on now.
When does she exit?
November
2nd is her last day.
I have another question. Is some of the candidates availability within a week or 2, or like some of 4 weeks?
Some of the ones that we asked
one that we're interested in
yes,
is
pretty sure
pretty
that
available.
2 weeks could definitely
We could
work
have
for,
2 weeks
for them.
I'm sorry.
Let me say, as in a gender sense, we've had a very good mix of gender, male and female.
Yeah, that's why I quit quote myself. But
no, I mean, but it's not. We're just being honest. We've interviewed male and female.
It would be. I would greatly appreciate if we could bring it to the October 8th meeting.
Our goal is to have somebody have a special voting meeting.
My feeling is, and I know we're in a budget situation, but an overlap of 2 weeks would definitely help you out. 2 to 3 weeks, you need that.
Anything will help me out, because like I said,
we're done interviewing tomorrow.
Well, I think ideally you want the person exiting to be able to train the person that's filling their shoes.
I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm trying to say. I think we should do it at least as long as you possibly can. Yeah, you're paying 2 people, but
I would greatly appreciate the
that.
committee's support for the full board.
Frankly, we're looking at candidates that we believe don't need a lot of training.
No, but
that are up kind
Gary,
of
it's not the training. It's
learning Daniel Boone. No, I understand
the complexity of bank accounts, where information is, and when things have to be done. Trust me, being an accountant, you don't just drop them in there and expect them.
I don't want to get, too,
correct,
rose-colored here, but I'm very optimistic about our chances here.
You guys, obviously you guys will bring. Hopefully you'll have a candidate.
I'll update you in the board update.
And
by the board update this Friday.
If that's the case, then
by the board update Friday, I should have another blast out to the board.
I'm just glad you guys saw them.
But encourage the board members, anybody who's got some sort of question or something that they want you to ask or check on with a candidate, that they encourage them to send that to you guys so you can ask the question of the candidates that you're talking to.
I'm just glad you had a great pool.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not surprised in this economy.
Yeah,
I
but
think
even still.
I think
Well, it's really
there's a lot of
hard.
great talent out there right now.
It's hard just looking at someone's resume. I mean,
Well, that's the hard
it's
part.
very hard, and I think we did a good job
Some
so
people-
far with the 6 or 7 that we've already done.
Good.
And I'm kind of excited for tomorrow, really,
Good.
just to see what else is out there.
It's a long day when you interview. I mean, you
After
get
a while-
nothing else
Well,
done. Well, you get nothing else done either.
You ask the same question.
I mean, when you get nothing
And
else
we
done.
each are asking the
Yeah, I
same
know.
question.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I
we
know.
try
That
to
gets to be very important.
differentiate.
I mean,
it,
Trust
but
me, I
it's-
know.
On those days, you just hope there's no emergency that draws one of us away, and so we're in real good
Good.
shape there.
Okay, moving on to the last two items, and I'll start from the bottom to the top. 12, 13, 14 budget rough draft. I know we kind of gave you a deadline of November 1st. Have you had an opportunity to get started? I know.
Absolutely.
Okay, and how's it going?
My part, I mean, I'm pretty good with a very rough of salaries and benefits. I think
Yeah.
that's done. The buildings are due by Friday. There are quite a few buildings that still aren't in that I saw today. Plus,
Do you
the part.
need somebody to act as the heavy to
They were
put the
reminded-
numbers in, or
They've already been told.
No, they
They
got,
were reminded
listen,
again
they got
today.
2 days. Yeah, they got 2 days.
They were
The
reminded
same
again
way
today. So
we gave you November 1st, so.
You did, but I mean, I will be honest with you. that
November
the-
1st or this next, the first November Finance Committee meeting, whichever
Correct.
one you want to have it.
The
November 1st?
Is that the next,
I don't
is that
know. I'm
is that
just
the
kidding.
committee date?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Danielle.
The parts that I'm struggling with right now is just because of time. There are other parts other than salaries and benefits that I budget, and I just can't, every time I sit down to do it, something else is coming
Well, let
up.
me-
So
I just
that's
want-
my- I
just
mean,
want clarification
other than
again.
that, I mean.
Do you want, at that time, us to already project how we're going to close whatever the gap is, or you just want to see what the gap is?
Well, show us the gap, and if you have some ideas, we'd certainly like to hear them.
I thought the direction was to come with it balanced.
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's
That's what- that's-
really where we'd like to
yeah,
be, but, understanding the constraints you guys are operating under. I guess my point of just asking to just check in with you at this particular meeting to see how you're doing was if there was something that we as a committee or as a board
No,
or that
we
Dr. Otto needed to help you with to get things to you that you need. I don't want
More
any.
time.
Well, aside from your time,
I don't mean.
I don't want you
more
waiting
time.
on other people to get you stuff. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and I guess where
Because that's been a problem in the past.
Well, it has, but I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a time, and when I run that number, if somebody goes, oops, I forgot to enter, that's when we're going to have to say, you have
Oh, no,
a deadline.
Well,
The iron hand is out,
Well,
believe
but,
me.
okay, and that's
I don't
true.
have a problem
But if
with
there
that.
is something that's going to really throw off the budget, or you're going to have to make an exception because, again, this is only the very preliminary first run.
Sure.
But But I agree. I think you got to give us the budget, and then at least throw in a couple ideas to balance it. That would be what I would look for.
Well, and
You know
to be
what I mean?
honest
If-
with you,
if for some reason
at this
it-
early date, it's going to have to include tax. It's
well,
going to
no,
have to
I
include
don't
fund
hear that
balance.
because that's not fair. We gave you November 1st.
Well,
But,
I haven't
I mean,
even
there's-
looked at the revenue
Well,
side
that's what I
yet.
said, so just
I mean,
let's not-
there's a lot that I need to accomplish in the next month, along with doing the financials, getting the AFR up, writing the MD&A, Julie leaving, and still trying to get the
I mean,
day-to-day
there is
stuff
no
going.
doubt
So
that-
I'm
What are you saying?
trying.
I mean, no,
There's only so many
we'll have
hours in a
something.
day, guys.
We will put something down for you.
But
I mean,
if I
that was the
remember right,
charge
you
given
took
us.
a 8-week vacation in September.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Well, so did I, but the charge before us was very clear,
I know,
and we're going to
I
try to meet that charge.
365,
So
24/7.
I've got to start looking at program already. I mean,
I've already been.
where we can consolidate program and do this and that. So that has to happen.
Attorney,
I mean,
Well, hey, wait till that happens, then what are you going to do?
I'm just, the purpose of bringing it up and putting it on the agenda is just to see if there's anything that we can do to help move things
I
along.
wish, but no,
Okay.
thank you. I would, quite honestly, I did take your advice, and I kind of took
get
what
the
I had
banks to
given-
defer our debt.
what I had given you last year,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I used. I went in and made sure my 12-13 stuff was accurate
Accurate.
projected to the 13-14 just in Excel. I don't
Yeah.
like doing that, but
Yeah.
until I can
We
get
gotta
my
start
payroll
somewhere.
stuff rolled,
Well,
and
let me
go
say-
out and play with the budget.
Yeah.
Let me
that's
say
where I
this
am
to you,
right
Andrew.
now.
You would have been happy in our meeting yesterday. We had 3 candidates talk about pivot tables.
All right.
We looked at each other and we're like,
About time.
They brought it up.
Fabulous.
Pivot tables, and what was the other one? The one guy said, I know how to do budget 5-year projections.
forecasting.
Forecasting,
That's what we
so.
need to
And
do.
I'm sitting there thinking, wow, that will be your job, because at least I'll have
No,
somebody-
we have some sharp
We'll save a
candidates.
seat right here for him.
Oh, God.
We have,
I just need some help.
We have some
All
sharp
right.
candidates. I'm
Well,
telling
that's good. I'm glad to hear that. That's encouraging. So
I almost fell out of my chair when that one said, "Well, we did this pivot table."
Just
I went,
don't mention his name now, or else you're going to have to.
No, I'm not mentioning the name.
Get him in
But
there.
there were quite a few candidates that
Yeah, it was a
did
few.
forecasting and budget projections and the pivot tables, not just one.
I'm gonna wipe my mouth.
How many people do you
right.
send over here, Andrew?
Sounds great. All
People do you
right.
send over here?
They didn't
Yeah, I
drop
wish
my
I could
name.
Get to it for you, but
Okay, so sort of segueing into the multi-year budget, I had sent out to the entire board.
We got that
basically
covered if we hire the right
information that
candidate.
Danielle had sort of tabulated and put together last year, and then I kind of tried to aggregate that up to give us a better sense of what our contractual obligations were going to be. I'd like to continue to sort of toy with that a little bit and
Are
bring
we
in.
having that guy come?
Well, that was one of the things I think we were trying to set that up for August. Unfortunately, I was completely
Correct.
out of the box
That's
till the
fine.
end of August, and I'd be happy to see if we can't bring him back in.
Let us see who we hire first, and you might not have to even have that.
Well,
conversation.
Well, I'd be interested to see
I'd
what
like
the
to
guy.
I wouldn't,
Oh, you wanna see what he says?
I don't. I mean, the last time I don't think there was much of an appetite of spending
No.
$6,000 a year for a software program.
I want to see what the guy does. Not that. Let's get what he can offer, and depending on the candidate, we now know what we can ask for too.
Sure, I think it's a good idea. So,
at least ask the guy to come in and give us a
yeah, I mean, if you don't mind trying to get some more dates from him
Yeah,
let's try for October.
Well, anyway, okay. Well, I have other new business. Probably do we get there?
And we'll go from there. But you got the spreadsheet that I sent
Yeah,
out, and
correct.
you got it.
Correct.
And so the whole board has it. And so what I'd like to do is try to sort.
I haven't
I'm going to
seen
start
that yet.
refining
Wait.
it. Didn't I copy you guys?
I don't
on it?
have it.
No,
Come on, I sent it out to everybody.
No, I never got it. Because
I
when I
think I
got
got
this
it, yeah.
email, I had no idea what you were talking
Yeah,
about.
that's why Danielle and I looked at each other and said, "What's that piece?" We do read our email.
All right, I sent it out the whole board. I thought I had you guys on the CC list. Maybe I didn't. I might have just hit DBASD board.
Send again.
So I'll send it out to you guys. It's nothing more than what you've already given me. I'm just giving it back with a couple of summary pages.
Yeah, I just know I was at a loss to explain what that.
Okay. But I think at the next meeting, I'd like to actually kind of crack that open a little bit and
But I
walk
also
through
would
it.
want to give you what I have now.
Bless you.
Yeah.
That's more accurate than
Yeah.
what you have.
Well, I'm going to try to set it up so is that
Crushed.
everything is going to feed
Fine,
forward.
nothing to it.
So whatever you give me drops into one data set, and then it will update everything else throughout the model. So we don't have to keep doing each page separately.
Okay. I have a lot of formulas of the new one I did too. So
Oh,
it's
good.
quite a tallies, 'cause it just be an error.
Yeah, that's too much. Okay, that's it. What do
I
you
got new
have?
business. Can I make it? Can I? And seriously, take this as a positive thing. Can we set up finance meetings on a standard date? 48-hour notice is a little tough, obviously, because obviously Frank could be. Two is seriously, and Andrew, please take this with all due respect, to give the administration more time. And two is, I didn't get a chance to look at any of this because it was sent out to us at 3:30 today or whatever, 4 o'clock. Can we make a decision and do it committee the whole meetings 6:30 to 7?
We had a
I think
standing
the
date.
problem with that was
Because one is
we were always pressed for time. A and
That is
B,
true.
we have people coming into the meeting while we're trying to finish the meeting.
Okay, I agree with that.
And it became, and that's what we had done for the first 6 months, and it just became way too disruptive.
I agree with that,
So
but here's my point.
I think we need to meet on a separate night.
Okay, that's fine, but I think we should need to have it scheduled. One is, I think in lieu of her conversation, she just added, there's a lot of things going on. We need to give her like 3, 4, 5 business days. Two is my personal schedule. I'm sure you guys have personal schedules that are crazy too. Plus, like I said, truthfully, I didn't get a chance to look at most of this today because Danielle sent it to us out, I don't even know what time, 4 o'clock, 3:30, 3.
No,
Sorry,
it was
Danielle,
between
don't
1
get
and 2.
testy.
Thank you very much.
Whatever.
If I could
guess
make a
looked at that.
recommendation-
All I'm saying is, can we please set up a definitive date every month?
If you like Mondays, the first Monday is taken with facilities. Second Monday's board. That third
Can we
Monday
do
is
the third
a
Monday?
prime date.
And the reason why
Well, here's with Mondays, and this is what's going to
Correct.
happen in November and
the
I don't know if
holidays.
it's December or January. I sit for you on the Health Trust Board.
Okay, so we can't. That's
And
out.
Is that
I'm
the third
gonna.
Monday?
Is it the
Well,
third Monday?
That's what
it's
changed.
Mondays, and I can tell you for November, it's the same day as the committee of the whole. So I
Well, then we know
may
it's not the
be
third.
late. I may
right.
be.
I'm just saying,
Here-
can we do-
telling
Why don't we
you,
do this?
There's
Everybody write down of the 4 weeks of the month what days you have available, and
Okay.
send it to me.
you know what
and
I
then
could do?
I will find the day that works best for everyone, because people sit on different committees.
I agree.
And-
We could flip facilities to the third Monday of the month, but she said Mondays are bad anyway.
Well, it's usually not the first Monday of a month.
We
It's
could
either
flip
the
facilities
second-
to
Yeah, but I've got commitments on the first Monday. I've got other board meetings that I sit on and I go to.
And I
So
got the second and third Tuesdays.
I've got the first Mondays, the second Tuesdays. I've
I
got
got
like
the
the
third
third Thursday. I mean, it's like.
Correct, but that's what I'm saying. So in fairness to you and to us and to them, I think we have a set date.
I agree, we need to have a set date,
And
but-
not to be rude, if you can't make it, but Frank's here, at least we can do it
No,
three.
look,
and then we can have the major.
three people is
But
fine.
I think I just looked at this and went, wow. When we agreed Monday, the agenda came out this morning, rightly so.
How
and
was the first
Then all of a
Wednesday of the
sudden,
month?
we get
Well, here,
information.
listen, if you go back to that third Monday or Mondays or whatever, if I need to be at one of those meetings, then why can my assistant not come and meet with you guys?
That's true.
Are we not?
No,
I mean,
look, your
That's
assistant
true.
should be able to be here as well.
So can we at least try the third Monday of every month?
And based
Start
on
out
our
with
new
it?
assistant, it's going
And
to be...
I understand with you. That's why I said eventually the committee and the voting meeting. But you're right; it's very disruptive. But one is you now know that's on.
We
your
were
schedule.
just weren't getting anything done.
But you also know it's on your schedule. Do you want to try 6 o'clock? I can do it. At
No,
6.
I mean, I think the issue was I'm rushing.
That turns that Monday night into a
that's
marathon.
fine.
Yeah, I mean, like
Okay, then
one,
yes.
people were getting tired with the
I'm
Monday
just
night,
asking about-
all night thing, and then two, I'm rushing to get here at 6. I mean, I'm lucky
Wanna
that
do
my
the
day
third
ends by
Monday then?
6:30. Huh?
I'd recommend the first Wednesday or the third Monday. And you know why I like the first Wednesday? It's before the committee of the whole. If anything needs to come
That's
forward
fine.
for discussion,
That's fine.
then it's
When-
done.
No,
Wait,
wait.
it's before the committee of the whole?
Yeah,
Well, the
yeah.
first Wednesday has to be before the second Monday.
Because
Oh, the
it's not
first,
this.
okay.
Yeah.
First Wednesday.
But you don't like that, Danielle?
Good.
Wednesdays are not really good for me.
Okay,
Fine.
then go to the third
It is what
Monday.
it is.
No.
It is what it is.
Well, let's do this, okay? Like I said, everybody come back with the days that work well for you on a monthly calendar,
that's fine.
okay? And just say, this day is good, this day, and just show me blocks of yellow on a calendar or whatever that work for you, so
I'll
that I
tell you
can,
the days I
I can
can't
look at it visually, I can overlap them, and I can see the best days that work for everybody, and then,
Every month is different though for me
Yeah.
personally. I mean,
Wednesdays are
Yeah,
always
see, I'd rather.
better for me.
That's why I was thinking. If we
Wednesdays
commit to
are
a
better.
time-
Wednesdays,
If you know the date and the date, then you can make your personal calendar around that.
Right.
If it is the first Wednesday.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you, if the third Monday seems to work? But well, you said you have a lot of board meetings.
Yeah.
nah, but not on the third Monday, I don't. I've got one on the first Monday, I've got one on the
Mondays,
second Tuesday, I guess something like on the third Thursday.
See, I honestly, for Mondays, I block them out for board business.
well, I
she
usually
can't do it
block
on a
out
third.
Mondays
well,
and
I
Wednesdays.
can, except for those months that I have that.
I think we roll the dice on
I
that.
think we
And
try
then my
it.
assistant
Let's
comes.
try
Right.
it then.
Right, yeah.
Especially with this new
Can we try
assistant.
that?
Or I get here as soon as I can. I
Or
mean,
can
I gotta get.
try-
be
Can we
able to,
try the
you know.
third Monday of the month and at least try for it a couple of weeks, at least a month, and see what happens? If we find out after 2 months,
I
it's
agree
not
with you. You
working,
can't have a meeting in an
I know
hour.
next
This
month
meeting's
I'll-
I
already
agree with that. No, I agree with that. But my concern is, in fairness to me and in fairness to administration, Andrew, again, 48 hours is not enough. We barely put it in the paper. And two is, I really didn't get a chance to look at any of this material. And no disrespect, yesterday she was interviewing all day. She didn't even get a chance to put it to us until 1 o'clock today, which I do work, so I couldn't really look at it today at work.
Right, I knew this was short notice,
Again,
but it's
it's
not
not
off.
criticism.
It's not usually that this has happened.
not
It's
a
the first
criticism,
time.
I know that.
And I thought it was better to have a meeting than not have a meeting
That's
at all.
fine.
No, this is
So-
productive. I think if we nail down a date,
But I think
if that's committee of the whole thing is not
because again,
amenable to the
you-
board, then we should
with
change
younger
it.
kids, if you know what dates are out, it's easier.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I know what day it is and I work my schedule.
That's what I'm saying. And so if we can,
Monday or Wednesdays work fine, but
If you know.
if
I'll
I know in
s-
advance.
I'll
Well, that's the whole point of
Okay.
setting a standing committee, because we can put them all on the
Can we
calendar.
send you what days I can't make it, and then you can figure it out. We'll
Yeah,
work
just send
out.
it to me. I mean, maybe it is the third
Sunday afternoon.
Wednesday or something like that. But
No, third Wednesday is reserved for revenue
I
enhancement.
mean, third Monday.
Because already the first Thursday is blocked out for curriculum and instruction.
Maybe
First
move
Monday,
Can we move them?
well, might, I don't know. The first Monday is reserved for facilities. We've done that since I've been here. Finance had been prior to the committee of the whole, but we're seeing that's not working.
Can we move
And
something?
policy is the second Wednesday of the month.
Well, I
So,
have a question. Look at what else can we move one of those other standing committees?
well, given that there's a new chair to policy, we can move policy.
Look, three of us that sit on this committee sit on the policy committee. So
It's all the same.
You want
all
to
the
do it?
same.
You want to do it before policy?
No. Policy needs
policy
time.
is a long. that's a
Policy
long
needs
way.
time.
I'm just asking. You're out already. You might as well try to.
Yeah, but it turns into a marathon evening.
All right. So that's the task. Everybody send me what works best for
I'm just
you.
trying to
in a given month, and we'll pick a date.
Oh, wait a minute.
We only really have the next.
Hold on, Mr.
I'm not done yet. We only really have next few months. I don't know if we want to wait. Well, I guess we could only wait until the end of October. But just let me know, and we'll schedule the next
I'll
one right
send you an
away.
email tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, the third Monday in October would be ideal. That gives us downtime and
I
time.
know I'm okay that one. It's what I'm trying to tell you. Then come November.
Wait, if you know the third Monday in October is good already,
Let's set that one now and then go on from there. Is everybody good for the third Monday?
I do not have that meeting.
is that okay with you, Andrew?
Yeah.
Well, then we're going to advertise that one and post
Okay,
it. That's
third Monday
done.
of October is the next finance meeting, 7
We have
o'clock.
that date.
What date is that? First, I think it's the 1st, 7th, no, the 8th, the 15th. It's October
October
15th, right in the middle of the month.
Oh, that's the third Monday. Is the 15th?
Yep,
Yeah, it is.
trust me, it is.
It is.
Because October 8th is our next committee of the whole.
6:30, 7 o'clock.
Well, I can do
That's
6:30.
7. Why don't we do it at 7?
Okay.
7's good. It gives public time to get here.
That's fine.
And I'm going to recommend, based on the construction out here,
Right,
we get it out of town here. This
Yeah.
is, this
Well,
is
let's find
nuts
some
out
other
here.
place to meet because this was really
This is nuts
difficult
out
to get
here.
to.
So the middle school or what?
We can either do middle school or high school.
High school.
High school.
Let's.
Well, I still
What?
trying to get here from where I'm coming from.
Where are you
I guess
coming
I can
from?
come the other way.
You can come down through Monocacy. We can walk to the high school
Okay,
library.
Mr. Schott, do you have any questions, comments?
Just have, I guess, a commendation. Prior to, when I was business manager, was put out to the board, there was nothing put on there prior to that as far as treasurer's report. You're putting those on now. I think it's a request to the board. I appreciate you putting that there because that's out at least Friday. Somebody wants to read them. I mean, I understand what you put there. So I'm appreciating it.
Yeah, we post those Friday before meetings. That's correct.
I'm glad you're doing it.
I thought we've always been doing that, but I
I
don't.
thought we did. Treasurer's report was only on this.
No?
Not all the
I only know
numbers.
since I've been
Numbers weren't
here.
always.
Prior administration.
Treasurer.
The other thing is,
He used to hand deliver them to us. Remember?
I always appreciated when if a parent sent a note to the principal complimenting me, the principal would give it to me and said, I will put it in your file. And then that became part of my file. Just hearing what Goose has done, she's only been doing this, for 2 years?
This role is
This would be-
this is
This
her
is her second.
this is her
start of
second starting her second year.
I think it's, she's doing a real good job.
She is.
And I enjoyed listening to her presentation.
No, she is doing a good
I
job.
think if somehow she could be complimented either through an email or something, or whatever, I think it's warranted.
Thank you. We'll take care of that.
Well, you can write a letter and send it, and we can
Send
put
it
it in
to
our
her.
file.
Send it
I'll
to
tell her to
Dr.
listen to the last 5 minutes of this meeting
Yeah,
where
no,
she
yeah, tell her
got
to send it-
complimented.
send it
No,
to
we
Dr. Otto.
we appreciate what she does.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you,
Meeting
everybody.
adjourned.
It means.